Thank you so much for that amazing introduction, Tony. And while I appreciate the introduction, I'm actually not going to be the one kicking off this training. So since we don't have pace for the next couple of weeks, I'm going to kick it over to one of my partners, Janae Jones, so she can touch on some products for the month of February, since it's Heart Health Month. So I'm going to kick it over to you, Janae, so you can get going. And then I know you're going to bring up, I believe, Gao as well. So over to Janae.
Awesome. Thank you, John, for allowing me to be a part of the training tonight, as well as Devon and Artie and Vishal and Sonika. But hi, guys. My name is Janae Jones, sponsored by John Prather, the speaker, upline Elaine Shekinino, Devon and Artie, and Vishal and Sonika. I have a quick presentation to go over with you guys. Okay. Can you guys see it? I'm pretty sure we're good. Okay, cool. So, you know, it's like Tony was saying, the shortest month. That's because it's February. And of course, February is a month of love and, you know, things like that. But it's also American Heart Health Month. So why not show you guys some products that can help support your health and your customers' health. So I put some slides together for you guys just to see what you have in what we have in store. So happy American Heart Health Month. So just a couple of facts before I get into it. So heart disease is the #1 cause of death in the US and worldwide. I know that was a little, you know, not the most positive thing to learn, but it is a fact. And we all live in, well, most of us live in America. So it's good to know. 1 in 3 women have some form of heart disease. You know, it's just something that's been going on because of a lot of factors. It could be food, it could be lack of exercise, things like that. So as you can see on the bottom, it says take 20, so reduce your heart attack risk with 20 minutes of exercise daily. I'm sure we all can get moving at least 3 times a week, maybe taking a walk or, you know, getting your heart rate up and just staying healthy. And here are some ways that you can take control of your heart health, which is managing your blood pressure, you know, controlling your cholesterol, your blood sugar, eating good, watching your salt/sodium intake is really important. And, you know, just trying to maintain your health. Okay, so if you guys didn't know, we have a heart health pack in our business. This is like the holy grail. It contains 3 different supplements that we contain individually. We have individually, but they are, you know, they have them together for our heart health pack. So for this pack, it's meant to proactively maintain a healthy heart. There's 60 packets, so 30 for the AM, 30 for the PM. You take 2 packs a day, so 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening. And I'm gonna go into what is in this pack. I just wanted to show you guys what we have. And so this pack retails for $129. And for IBO, that's $116.10 and 37.45 PV. So the first vitamin that is inside of that pack is the Heart Health CoQ10. So CoQ10 is a coenzyme that, you know, our body produces, but it also, you know, once you get older, it kind of the body produces less, basically. So this is to help keep your heart young, and so it supports your heart, your liver, and pretty much all the cells in your body with daily use. It also is found to reduce high blood pressure and things like that. So it keeps your body. It keeps your heart pretty healthy, especially if you already have a healthy heart. It's good to maintain a healthy heart. So one soft gel provides 30 milligrams of CoQ10, and the equivalent that's found in 2 pounds of beef. If you're not really a beef eater, this is great. And it has antioxidant protection against free radicals. So if you don't know, like free radicals and things that are in the air, and those damage your cells, and so this helps protect against that. And so the retail price for this is $19.50 if you get it individually outside of the Heart Health Pack. IBO price 1755, and PV is 5.66. Next, I want to talk about the cholesterol health. So this product helps maintain healthy cholesterol levels. And so if you don't know, cholesterol is something, that contributes to different heart diseases and things like that. So this is really healthy for people who are a little older maybe, or just, trying to maintain their heart health. It has natural green tea extract that offers phytonutrients to help protect against cell damaging free radicals. So, this is just something else that will help you in your heart. And I actually want to bring up someone on John's team, Gal Jones. We're not related. We do have the same last name, but we're just teammates. So Gal has a really good testimony that he would like to share regarding the cholesterol health. So Gal, you can take it away.
Oh, thanks, Janae. Good evening, everyone. My name is Gal Jones, launching this business by my good old childhood friend, Dawood Asano, upline Real Michelle Walton, John Prater, Aileen Shankanino, Devon IT, and Bishai and Sonica Jane. Just a quick story. I was a Marine, fit for years, been running since I was a teen, staying fit, all the way to my 20s. I'm sure I'm 27 years old. I seek with the prize of the cholesterol health. But I retired and I put on some weight, stopped training, and I went from 175 up to 210 pounds. Went to my doctor, checking for everything, doing my annual checkup, because most men don't like to get their medical checkup, right? Some of the significant others have to force them to get it done. So I went for my checkup, found that my cholesterol was 227. My doctor said, you have to do something about it or else I will have to put you on medication, and I wanted no part of that. So I decided I was going to go on a diet, and during one of our regular PACE meeting, I heard someone talking about cholesterol health. I said, you know what? I need to get that along with my diet and exercise, and let me get the cholesterol health. So my test was December of 2020. Got the cholesterol health by April of 2021. Taking the cholesterol health, exercising, diet, and right, my cholesterol left from 227 down to 187, dropped by 30 points. And I have maintained that. With that news, I was able to tell my dad, who don't believe I inherited a cholesterol problem from him, right? Sometimes it's hereditary. My dad got on the cholesterol health too, and I was able to talk to some of my other buddies. And one of my friends, she got her mom on the cholesterol health too, and her mom just ran out. And I'm like, why would you even do that? And she want to reorder cholesterol, and she promised to never allow that to run out again. So that's just my personal testimony. All right, try your product, it does work. And this cholesterol health, I've been a lifestyle, but not only do we want to create wealth and generational wealth, but we also want to be around so that we can see our family enjoying what we have created. Thanks for the opportunity to share my testimony.
Wow, thank you, Gal. That's an awesome testimony. So you guys heard it. You want to take care of yourself. You want to, be wealthy, of course, through this business, but, why not be healthy as well, especially when we have the products to help us do that. So thank you, Gal, for sharing your testimony. And I did see, I'm pretty sure it was Nurse Christy in the comments that said that, we start building plaque in our arteries when we're 10 years old. It's really soon, it's really early. So, it's just really good to just maintain your health and trying to be healthy always. So next, I think this is the last one. This is the Heart Health Omega vitamin. So if you're new in the business, I've been to a few conferences. I know John's going to talk about it in the training, but I remember one conference, Dr. Hal Newball, he's a really respected doctor who worked, I believe he worked or taught at Johns Hopkins, and he recommended that we all take Heart Health Omega. So ever since I seen him talk about that, I was like, okay, I need to start taking this, because whatever he said, I'm sure is really helpful to our body. So this vitamin is to support healthy blood flow and heart function. And so it may reduce the risk of heart disease It helps support already normal lipid levels, so like fatty acids from fatty fish. And then it also has a reduced fishy aftertaste. Like cod liver oil has a really potent smell and taste when you eat it, and so this is really good because it kind of contains that, and you don't have that awful taste in your mouth. So this is also, they have other vitamins that are similar to this one, like for your brain health, but this one is specifically for a healthy heart. So this is also really good to have. It has 90 soft gels, and you only take it once a day, or you take three soft gels once a day. And the retail price for this is $35. IBO price is $31.50, and PV is $10.16. So if you guys haven't already, I would start with the heart health pack, but if not, you can individually purchase or get one of these vitamins that I talked about to help with your heart health. I mean, all the other, your whole body is important, but your heart is what beats every day. And so I would want to have a healthy heart as well. So these are really helpful. You can talk to your customers about these things as well. And finally, here are some Galentine gift ideas by Christy. She created these baskets. These are just some ideas for Valentine's Day coming up on Monday. So yeah, she just put together some of these. I think I have a couple of minutes. Maybe Christy can talk about it. Do we have a couple of minutes? Maybe Christy can talk about these. Is that okay? Yeah. Hey, Christy.
Hey, Janae.
Yeah, just share what you put together here for the people.
Sure. So this is actually a Galentine's Day gift that I had put together, and I actually shipped them all out today. So I don't have any to show, but essentially I put in one of each of the new no filter N by Nutrilite products. So the collagen peptides, the coffee creamer, the no filter collagen gummies, and the no filter sleep gummies, and the tea, beauty tea, which has been a really big hit with a lot of my girlfriends. And I also, not pictured, is the Fizzy and Fabulous effervescent tablets that I also included after I took these pictures. So I packaged them in a nice little box from the dollar store, and I put little fillers and also some Hershey's Kisses and like bubble gums and as well to have a little treat. But really simple things you can get from like TJ Maxx or value stores to share some love. And I also included, I did a little description of each of the products so that the girls can know what each of the product does. And I pretty much just copied and pasted from the Amway website the description, like 1 or 2 sentences from it to summarize, and that's it. So hopefully they'll get it by Valentine's Day. Thanks, Janae.
Awesome. Thank you, Christy. So yeah, that's pretty much the conclusion of my presentation. You guys, hopefully you have a really good, healthy rest of February and an awesome Valentine's Day on Monday. So thank you guys for letting me share, and you can take it away, John.
Wow, amazing. Thank you, Janae, Gao, and Christy for sharing. I mean, with all those products and all those testimonies, I think it's pretty simple and pretty easy to move some PV and to grow your business. So thank you guys so much for sharing. So with the last 30 to 45 minutes, I'm going to dive into the training and kind of touch on a couple of things. That the topic that I want to touch on today, if you guys want to write this down, if you're taking notes, I want to cover the 9 core steps, the 4 basics, and kind of rating yourself on those 9 core steps. So I'm going to shout out Nanda and Sangeeta because I know they had a really great talk about a year or 2 ago on rating yourself on the 9 core steps. So let me do this. Let me share my screen and break down for some of you newer partners what the 9 core steps are, 4 basics, and we can go from there. So let me know. Are you guys seeing this? Thumbs up? Making sense? Okay, perfect. So pretty simple. So like I said, what I want to dive into is first I want to kind of explain, what are the 9 core steps? What are the 4 basics? How do you get your business going? How can they help you build your business? And then the second thing I want to touch on is some obstacles or some excuses that I've heard personally, that I've had, that have stopped people from doing these 9 core steps to move their business forward. And then I want to wrap it up with just some tips, and some things that I would suggest, again, all in the realm of helping you move your business forward. And whether you're a brand new IBO like Hunter, Douglas, Gertrude, or you've been in the business for a couple of months, couple of years, I believe this training should help you. So to kind of jump right in, obviously, as you guys can see, the 9 core steps. So very, very simple. And as you guys can kind of look at it right here, let me see if I can get some annotations going. Obviously, here are the 9 core steps, but they're really broken up into 3 different sections. There's volume aspect, there's a networking aspect, and there's a personal development aspect. And as you use all of these together, you can move your business forward much more effectively. So I remember hearing in an audio, actually recently, it was from Kumar, he talks about how Sagit, I think he was a speaker just before him at this conference, is he said, these 9 core steps, they're not a menu, but they're a recipe. So you don't want to look at these 9 core steps and say, oh, I like this one, so I want to do this, or I don't like that, so I'm going to leave that one out, or, I'm going to do this, but not this one. Because it's kind of like, again, an example, I'm not a cook or anything like that, but like, I heard an example, like, if you make cookies without sugar, you just have bad cookies. That's like trying to build this business without, using your volume. It's going to be very difficult. Or let's say you want to, have Thanksgiving and, you eat meat and everything like that, but you don't bring the turkey. It's kind of like, you miss out on, I know some people don't have turkey and stuff like that, but you get the point where that's like, building this business without networking or things like that. So you want to be sure to hit all of these points. And again, they're very, very simple and they really work to help you build your business more effectively. If you try to pick and choose one or the other, it makes it a lot more difficult versus helping you if you just do everything. So I'll kind of walk you guys through it, the 9 core steps. So as you guys can see, one of them is personal use, having customers. That's obviously volume related. The 4 basics, networking, is really around bringing people into your team, and then reading books, audios, videos, attending meetings, technology, accountability, teachability. That's all has to do with personal development to help you grow your business. So let me kind of dive in. I think Janae and Christy and Gao, they really explained really well. Obviously, the personal use aspect and creating customers. I mean, when you have products, kind of like I broke down today, I mean, everyone was giving examples of, each month they spend $300, $600, $1,000 a month on products and services that they use every single month. It's not very difficult to create 150 PV, 300 PV onto 500 PV in your personal circle if you simply just start to use the products that you're already using and you transition that spending into your own business. It just makes sense. Like if you're going to get paid to use products, I might as well use the products that pay me versus supporting a competitor. And that's kind of how I viewed this business, is that if I'm willing to use my products, it's going to be much easier to develop a customer if I can do that. Like I know Hunter, who's a new partner on the call. I know Elijah as well. They both just sold some products and sampled out some products to a couple of friends. So it's, if you enjoy the products, if you've tried some of them before, I mean, both of them have been in business, for Hunter for, less than a month and Elijah for a couple of months. But if you use your products, if you try your products, it's very easy to sample them out to friends, to offer them to people because you've had a personal experience with it, just like Janae, Gao, Christy were able to share some with their friends and family. So it becomes very simple to do 150 PV onto 300 and 500. It's just a matter of transitioning your buying power and then sharing these products with people that also use shampoo, toothpaste, heart products, things like that. So that's the volume aspect. 4 basics is something that I definitely want to touch on a little bit more before we go into the excuses, obstacles. So 4 basics, as they're kind of broken down right here, very, very simple. Again, the goal in this business is to build a large asset. And the way that we do that is very simple, is there's 4 basic steps to bringing somebody into the business. There's building your list, which all of us have a list of people that we know, hundreds, if not thousands. I mean, if you grew up in the United States, you have thousands of people that you know, whether it be on social media, whether it be in person, whether it be at your job, but you have plenty of people that you know that you could potentially introduce this opportunity to. And then the next step is once you have a list of people, coworkers, people in your phone, people on social media, is you need to learn how to get good at dropping the message and connecting with them. Now, everyone on your list, you might not drop the message on right away, but you want to write all of their names down because you never know where it could go. You know, when you drop the message on somebody, I think the next slide I have an example, which I shared a couple of weeks ago, of how to drop the message. Again, I'm not going to go through this in all of its entirety. If you want to screenshot it, you can screenshot it. But how we drop the message and share this opportunity is very, very, very simple. Is you just want to get really, really good at asking people, you know, do you keep your options open to more opportunities? You know, there's different lists of people that you work with, friends and family, acquaintances, new friends, but you want to get really, really good at letting people know that you've started a new opportunity and asking them if they are interested or open to new opportunities. Your goal in the conversation isn't to explain the opportunity. It's not to break out the business presentation and walk them through it at that moment. The goal is simply to just get them to answer yes or no. Are they looking for an opportunity or are they not? And if they're looking for an opportunity, it's pretty simple. You start them through the process, you connect them with your coach, because your coach is going to be there in the beginning to help you build your team. So if you can connect them with your coach and they can help take them through the process, you'll see some good results. And if they're not interested at the moment, my mindset is that a no is just no for now. People, like a perfect example, Hunter, we were talking about it a couple of days ago. I contacted Hunter. Me and Hunter actually knew each other from football, you know, when I first graduated from college, and we were, you know, we had the same agent. And I remember I approached Hunter, I think a couple of months after I started the business, but at the time, you know, he was moving, still pursuing football, and the timing wasn't right. But a couple of weeks ago, he posted on Facebook that he's, you know, his wife is pregnant. And I was like, hey, let me hit Hunter back up. So I reconnected him. So sometimes people are no, but that doesn't mean that they're a no forever. If they want to share, if they want to use your products, great. If they don't, great. But I never give up on people. I never say, oh, you know, if they're not interested now, I'm never going to reach back out. You know, I'm just like, hey, maybe now is not the best time, but I can always reach out in the future. You know, other than Hunter, I mean, there's plenty of people that I've come into contact with that I've reconnected with. And I'm sure there's plenty of people on this call who have had the same thing. So this is the idea. Again, I don't want to go into a full detail and everything, but it's very, very simple. You want to get good at asking this question to people every single day. Everywhere you're at, you want to be asking people, do you keep your options open to new opportunities? You know, have you ever thought of doing anything extra than what you're doing on your job? And there's no wrong answer. If they say yes, they can start in the process. If they say no, just share with them some products that you have. It's really that simple. But you have to get into a groove of doing this on a daily basis. That's how you're going to see some traction. If you just do 1 or 2 every week, 1 or 2 every month, it's kind of like if you try to put marbles in a funnel. If you just have one going through the funnel, the marble is going to fall right out. But if you put 10, 15, 30, 40, 50 marbles in the funnel, eventually they're all going to hold each other in. And that's how this business works. If people see momentum happening in your business, they don't want to get out, but they want to join your team. So that's the key. Again, use your upline, help, you know, partner with them as much as you can, but learn these are the 2 aspects of the, you know, networking process that you have the most control over, is building your list and dropping the message. So you want to get good at doing this as much as possible. I know Vishal has a really great example where it's like, you know, you have a deck of cards and there's only 4 aces. Not everyone you know is going to build this business, but some of them will. You just don't know who they are. It's like flipping through a deck of cards and only having 4 aces. You don't know where the aces are, but if you take 1 year to flip 1 card, it's going to take you 52 years to flip through all the cards. But if you flip through 3, 4, 5, 6 cards every single day, every, you know, multiple of, you know, a week, you're going to find those aces very, very quickly. And that's the idea of this business where, you know, again, it's not like you only have 1 deck of cards. You can go through another deck of cards, another deck of cards. So again, the idea is to do what you have in your control, which is build a list and drop the message. You know, so if you've gone through your A and B list, for those of you that are a little bit, you know, further along in the business, there's people obviously on social media, LinkedIn, people you can meet in person. So your list never really ends. Your list starts with people you know, but obviously it can grow to people that you don't know. So this is the major key that I've seen hold up a lot of people in business, is their, you know, not willingness to flip through the cards very fast. I know Vishal and Sonika were masters at that. That's why they went diamond, having known nobody in the United States, you know. And again, once you drop the message, again, if you're new in business or you're working with your upline, connecting them with your coach to start the process and getting them started right is going to be mostly modeled by the person that's working with you. You know, obviously, as you become more mature yourself in business, You'll learn different techniques on how to take them through a process. And again, it's not one size fits all. You can work with people and do different things with different people. But again, just work with your upline. For most of you, obviously, I'm sure you're probably working with a coach who's doing this. And if you're a coach that's doing this, you already have your own style of showing the process. So I don't need to explain that to you. But this is the biggest key, is just do what's in your control. Once you offer them an opportunity, you have no control over if they say yes, no, maybe later, anything like that. So just control what you can control. That's all that you can do. Same like in any other business, any other industry, is just controlling what you can control. So if you can get really good at this is where the heart of the business is really building a network. But again, as I kind of go through the rest of this, go through a couple of excuses, I'm going to kind of show you how all of these come together. And, all of these different, personal development habits, as you can see, reading books, listening to audios, attending meetings, technology, accountability, huddle, play, huddle. This is all going to help you maximize the first 3 habits. The first 3 habits build the business. The last 6 build you. You can't build the business without building yourself. Some people will get some results early on with the first few people that you talk to, but you're not going to sustain yourself. You're not going to go platinum, emerald, and diamond without being willing to educate yourself, learn, things like that. And a perfect opportunity to do that, again, for all of you new people on the call, I know Douglas, Hunter, Gertrude, and I'm sure there's a few more of you guys who still haven't gotten your ticket, but there's an amazing BWW conference that's coming up, not this weekend because it's Super Bowl Sunday, but next weekend. There's going to be a 3-day conference on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, where there's going to be speakers from all over the country, and I think even the world, some from Canada. Vishal and Sanaka are flying down, and Nandan Sagita, I believe, as well, and I'm sure a few other maybe emeralds on the call here that are going to be flying down to North Carolina, and they're going to be speaking from the headquarters of BWW, and they're going to be talking. There's probably going to be 30 to 40 plus emeralds and diamonds and above speaking that entire weekend. And all that they're going to be talking about is, how do you talk to people and bring them into your team? Which products are the best to market? How do you develop customers? How can you grow yourself so that you can grow the business? They're going to be talking on all of these topics that we're talking about today. So if you value education, if you value, obviously learning from people who have succeeded in something, then I would highly recommend getting your ticket. And if you don't know how to get your ticket, talk to the person who's invited you. And I would recommend clearing your calendar completely. There's 4 sessions. It's not like it's, 12 hours a day. It's only 4 sessions throughout the weekend. But I would highly recommend clearing your calendar, because for me, that was a life-changing event. When I went to my first conference, I was sold after that. I understood that I could do this business and it wasn't very difficult. So highly, highly would recommend. But again, just like everything, you want to use these personal development habits to grow yourself so that you can move forward in this business. So those are the 9 core steps. Take a screenshot, go through it. But this is kind of what helps you build your business. And if you can master the first 3 that help build your, increase your income, the second 6 or the last 6 is going to help you build yourself to become a better version of yourself. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to go through a couple of things. And I'd love to have some interaction with people who are maybe not Eagles or Platinums and above. Obviously, if nobody's answering, you guys are more than welcome to jump in. But I want to dive into a couple of what are some reasons. So it's very simple. I mean, you look at those 9 things, all of those are really choices. You can choose to use the products. You can choose to share the opportunity. You can choose to talk to customers. You can choose to grow yourself personally. So what stops people from doing it? Because if it was very, very easy, everyone on this call would go diamond in, 2 to 5 years. But again, what holds people back? What has stopped me and maybe even some of the people that I've worked with to go through? So I want some interaction. Maybe I think you guys are allowed to unmute. So I guess from your perspective, I have a few in mind that I'm thinking, but feel free to put them in the chat, unmute yourself. What are some excuses, obstacles that you guys have come into that have kind of, either made you or a business partner, it's kind of slowed you down a little bit? I know for me, a couple of people I've talked to, like having a lack of time, lack of money. Is there anything else? I mean, throw it in the chat, unmute, talk. Is there anything that comes to your mind that you guys have experienced before? Feel free to unmute. I'm seeing confidence.
So for me, I feel like just thinking about it and me like trying to act upon it kind of like scares me. But like I have like faith in myself and like kind of like confidence that I can do it. But like when I'm thinking about it, that kind of like makes me want to shrink in a box and just sit on the corner and be like, yeah, that's all I want to do. But like at the same time, I'm just like, no, this is what I want to do. This is like my goal, my dream. So I have to kind of like fake act confidence, if that makes sense, so that I can do what I really want to do.
Okay. No, absolutely. So confidence, I know that was something that kind of, for me in the beginning, I needed to work on too. Confidence, I've seen commitment, time. Anything else? Anybody else want to unmute, share? Maybe one or two more people. If you guys want to unmute. Going once. Looks like we're having a couple of people. Oh, here's Maya. I see Maya unmuted.
Oh, yeah, okay. I just know some people from like in my experience, they understand the process, but then they're not understanding what we do as entrepreneurs per se. They have their own entrepreneur route that they feel is better, but they don't understand that what we're doing is actually easier than like you've been on our calls, drop shipping and Amazon and stuff like that. So I think people don't really get what we're doing here is probably one of the best things if you're trying to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So like lack of knowledge, they're just not aware of kind of what's going on. Kind of like Gertrude said, confidence, knowledge, I think as well. And I think confidence, I kind of break confidence down, and it's knowledge plus belief. If you know what you're doing and you believe in what you're doing, you'll be very confident. So it's kind of a mixture of those two. I mean, I've seen in the chat, like Tony said, lack of self-discipline, faith, what else? Staying in the comfort zone. Yep. Influence from friends and family, waiting until it slows down, kind of lack of time, some people say. So yeah, I'm seeing kind of a lot of similar things. I wrote down a couple of things as I was preparing, lack of knowledge, lack of time, lack of money. I don't have money to build the business. I don't have money to buy my conference ticket. Excuses, ego. I see you guys posting. Lack of results. Sometimes people are like, oh, I did all this work, but I haven't gotten anything out of it. I've talked to all my friends and family, all my cousins, and nobody's interested in launching or supporting my business. So lack of results makes them not want to move forward. Negative association, I think somebody put, friends and family aren't super positive, things like that. So those are a few things that kind of came to my head, fear and stuff like you guys said. And what I want to do is for the next, I'm really going to hold myself to it, Devang and Arti, for Sean Stein. For the next 25 minutes, I'm going to wrap up, and I'm going to kind of talk through with you guys common sense, how you can look at these obstacles again, because not only, again, some of them obviously you can see others have, but then sometimes you might have certain obstacles that and even some that you don't know. You might be kind of, sometimes I know for me, sometimes you're kind of thinking something, you think, oh, I know everything, but then there's something that you don't even know that holds you back. So maybe today we can talk through some things that'll help you out, whether you're new in business or you're kind of, moving along. So let's kind of go through, I'm just going to touch on those 5, that I listed out because that's what I prepared. But yeah, so the first one is lack of knowledge. So like I said, I want to break down in a very common sense way. Obviously, I'm going to have people interact. I might call on people because it seems like you guys are a little bit shy. But so the first one, so lack of knowledge. So I want to give an example of something where maybe you've shown a lack of knowledge, but you've learned the skill itself. So if there's anybody, feel free to raise your hand. Just 1 or 2 people who have had this happen to you, where you've maybe started off a semester in school, where you maybe started off failing or not having the best grade, but you finished the end of the semester with either an A, a B, or a much better grade than what you started with. Is that the case for anybody? Anybody willing to share that they maybe started off failing and kind of pick themselves up? Anybody want to raise your hand? If not, I'll pick on some people. I know some of you guys are still in school, so feel free. Okay, I guess it looks like, okay, Benur. Can you, are you able to turn your video on so I can spotlight you?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay, well then you're speaking. So walk me through, I guess, so like you said, so what was this situation? Give it, 30 seconds to a minute. What happened and how did you get out of that situation? You started off failing. How did you turn it around?
So what I did was, I was a discrete structure class I graduated college in the fall. So I took it, I had to retake it in the spring semester. So one of the reasons I failed the courses was because I was new to the content, and I was just like, how people see the plan and they're unable to comprehend the plan, right? As beyond their comprehension. So, but they don't take the time, they don't come back and see it. Some come back, they eventually get it, right? Sometimes it hits you a couple of weeks later, maybe a month later. Everyone processes different. Like when I first saw the plan, I saw it, kind of hit my head. But this class, like for an example, right? I was going to class, I was going to lecture, but I was having hard time understanding the content in the class. And I wasn't doing enough practice problems. Like I wasn't applying the knowledge I was learning. And then the professor was emphasizing, she's like, you have to do a lot of practice problems if you want to do good on the test and the quizzes. And I was learning, but I wasn't applying. So I ended up getting a D in the course in the fall semester. And then once I retook the course in the spring semester, I was like, you know what? I already know the book. I already know the lecture. Now I need to do a lot of practice problems. So I did a lot of practice problems. Then I was able to comprehend the content. Just like, you know how, like, just see when you see the plan, it takes a little time for some people. We will come back, some don't come back. So just my experience.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And thank you so much for sharing. And that's the key. I mean, I'm sure all of you guys have had similar experiences in your school. And that's the key to this business. You know, just like Benur was saying, you know, studying, practice problems, educating yourself, maybe, you know, surrounding yourself with the right group of people. Maybe originally you might have been sitting in the back of the class, you moved to the front so you can take advantage. So that's the same thing in this business. When I hear people say, well, I don't know, you know, how do I drop the message every day? I don't know how to do it. Or how do I sell products? I don't know how to do it. Or, you know, I don't know. The answer is in the same way that you got that better grade in class, the same way that you improved at your sport, is you just educate yourself more. That's why we have audios. That's why we have books. You know, if you don't relate to people very much, then maybe you need to read a couple of people skills books to educate yourself. Maybe you need to come to more business meetings. Maybe you need to come to the conference to learn a few skills of, hey, how can I relate to this person? How do I drop the message? You know, I feel a little bit, you know, uneasy when I talk to people. How can I improve on that? You know, educate yourself, learn, do practice problems, repetition. A lot of people, like Benur was saying, you know, they see the presentation, they get it, don't get it, and then they don't give themselves the knowledge, kind of like Maya was saying, they kind of write it off and they're like, oh, you know, or they get into the business and they don't get the results they thought immediately, and they kind of write it off. But it's really just a simple educating yourself, coming around the business team, personally developing yourself, and you'll start to see that you'll get better and better and better. When I first started, I'm glad, you know, talking about Hunter again, I'm glad he didn't get launched at that time, because I was a very worked on business owner at the time. But now, a couple of years later, because of the education that I've taken, because of the knowledge that I've gained, I'm much better prepared to work with people and things like that. And the same can happen for any of you guys, but you just want to educate yourself. You want to study. Okay, so that kind of answers knowledge. If you don't know what you're doing, if you're not aware, you have to be willing. And again, focus on yourself more so for what we're talking about, not so much on other people, because you obviously can't make them want to learn more, but you can choose to learn more and relate to more people yourself. So the second one that we were kind of talking about is lack of time. I know Calvin kind of mentioned it. So I guess give me a raise of hands, anybody that has like a professional job. Matter of fact, I'm just going to pick because you guys don't want to raise your hand, but let me think, because I was thinking of while I mentioned Calvin, I know Calvin's somebody who kind of comes to mind. Calvin, if I can share you and ask you a quick question. You there? Hey, Calvin.
Hello.
So I know you work as a recruiter, right? And I remember one of the times we talked a couple of weeks ago, you have a job where you kind of have to call a certain number of people a day, right? Is that kind of your role?
Yes. Yep.
Perfect. So I remember you said whatever it is, 100 people or so, that initially it was pretty hard, but I'm sure over the past couple of weeks, months, it's probably gotten easier, right?
Yes.
So I guess for you, having so many people that you have to call on a daily basis, I'm sure it seems like, man, I don't have a lot of time to call all these people. I only have 8 hours a day. How did you go from not having enough time to now having plenty of time? I'm sure you could probably do that call in, half the time, those number of calls in half the time now. How did you kind of work through that at your job?
Yeah, at the job, first starting off, just kind of understanding like, all right, cool, it's 100 calls a day. So how am I going to kind of break that down? So I broke it down into time chunks, and kind of also the branch manager kind of helped out with kind of explaining it too. What he was saying was it takes like from start of the workday to end of the workday. If you make a call every 5 minutes, you're going to reach 100 calls. But for me, I didn't want to just make one call every 5 minutes. If the conversation is not going to be 5 minutes long every time, why not just make more calls in that time, versus just kind of taking a break. Like say if I'm making a call, get off the phone and then play on my phone or play on the computer or something. That's kind of wasting my own time. So why not just kind of get those 100 calls out the way, so that way I have more time to do something else, like work on my business, which is something that I do.
Exactly. And thank you so much for sharing. So like you mentioned, creating a plan, prioritizing your time. If it takes X amount of time to call somebody, why not do more in the beginning so that the rest of your day is taken care of? And those are the exact tips. Thank you so much, Calvin. Those are the exact tips that you use in this business. A lot of people say, oh, I don't have so much time. I work a job, I have school, I have to take care of my kids, my family, my this, my that. I have so much on my plate, but it's not really, like Calvin said, it's not about managing your time. It's about managing your priorities. You want to identify, like Calvin said, okay, well, if I need to do this, it's doable. Just like this business is very doable. I mean, you see pretty much everyone from every background that's successful, whether you're a student to, family, kids, singles, couples. So it's not about the time that you have, it's about the priorities that you have. And what kind of like Calvin described and I've done in my business life is, I walked through my calendar and I looked at it very bluntly and I said, hey, what are the activities in my day that aren't allowing me to move my business forward? And just like Calvin said for his job, some people probably make some calls and play video, play on their phone for a little bit and make some calls, and they waste a lot of time in their day. And it's the same thing here. A lot of people think that they have a lot going on in their day, but it's really just a lot of time wasters, maybe TV, social media, check your phone. How much time do you spend on social media? Can you redirect a couple of hours to this business? This business only requires, to get it going, maybe 10 to 15 hours a week. For those of you who want to go a little bit faster, you can put a little bit more time in. It's only an hour or two a day, realistically. If you can't find an hour or two a day to pursue your goals and dreams, then it's not the time that's a problem. It's the priority that you're putting on your goals and dreams. Because for me, I wasn't going to allow non-meaningful time wasters to take up time away from my dreams. So just like Calvin said, I mean, that's a key one. Prioritize your time, create a game plan with your coach. If you have trouble managing your time or managing your priorities, and work that game plan. Maybe you don't know how to get yourself out of this problem, but you can if you work with a coach to help you do that. Because we've all had that challenge, but it's just a matter of, do you want to get over it or do you want to stay in that problem? Great. Thank you so much, Calvin. The next one I want to go into is, I'm going to jump over money and I'm going to go to results. So results. So a lot of the questions sometimes I hear is, I've done so much work in this business and I haven't gotten the results. I've talked to people, I did what you said. I talked to people for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, a couple of months in a row, and it doesn't look like anybody's launching. I got a couple of people to the board plan, what's happening? I want to pull back from the business because I'm not getting the results that I'm looking for. So let me ask, I want to ask people that have played sports, and I know Maya, so I know I'm going to specifically focus on basketball. So I know I talked with Maya, and let me see, is Elijah? No. So let me see, Maya, if you could unmute yourself real quick. Let me ask you a question. So as a basketball player, so you played basketball in college, right? Played at a very high level. And I saw on your Instagram that your team is #1 in the country right now, right? Glenville?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So that means you must have been very good at basketball. So let me ask you a question. Let's say, I'm sure like everyone on this call, if you played basketball, at some point in your life, you weren't very good at shooting free throws. Is that an accurate statement when you were younger? Pretty much everyone was bad at free throws at one point. So let's say you wanted to improve, shooting the ball, making the basket. What were you told by your coach when you were younger on how to improve your free throws for yourself? What were you told?
Really, you start inwards, get your form together, and then you work your way out to the free throw line. And then when you get to the free throw line, you practice that same form, but you shoot more shots, you get more repetition, build muscle memory. So if I'm missing shots, I need to take 100 shots. I need to make 100 free throws. I need to hit, if I take 100 free throws, I need to make at least 80. And then I need to increase that. I need to almost be perfect, but you need to build up muscle memory in order for you to go to the free throw line and knock them down, really. And that's what we had to do in college. Like that was a requirement before, like pre-workouts in the summer, we had to send in how many free throws we made. And then after practice, we had to make we had to hit 80% after practice every day. So that was the non-negotiable thing. So just building muscle memory and stuff like that, getting the routine.
Absolutely. Again, and the same thing, I'm so glad you mentioned that. Repetition, muscle memory, practice, shoot 100 shots. I remember hearing Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, I'm sure LeBron too, they wouldn't even leave the gym until they made like 500 shots in a row, or same with like free throws, just like you said. And it's the exact same principles that we do in this business that helps you create success. Thank you so much, Maya, for sharing that. And that's the key. You know, if you say, oh, I haven't gotten the results, it's just like you're there shooting basketball, or you're playing cricket or baseball and you can't hit it, or you're playing football and you're messing up on plays. It's not that the business doesn't work. A lot of people say, oh, because I've never done this business before, it must be the business that's not working. But it's not the business. It's probably that you're so new that you're not as skilled to become successful. Just like Maya said, over a period of time, I'm sure if you were shooting 20% from free throws, after you do that process for maybe 6 months, you're probably shooting almost 80, 90% if you're taking it seriously. It's the same thing in this business. You might start off talking to people and very, very few get into business with you. And it's because you don't have the skill set yet. You don't have the muscle memory. You don't know what to do, kind of going back to the knowledge. It requires you to not only learn, but you have to do more of it. Just like Maya said, you have to shoot more free throws. If you just watch the video, like you said form and stuff, and that's part of it. That's the skill. But if you just watch videos on the right form to shoot and the right way to shoot the basketball, and you never took another shot, you probably wouldn't have increased in your effectiveness very much, maybe a little bit. And that's the same thing in this business. A lot of people think, oh, well, I'm not getting results, so I'm going to stop talking to people and go listen to a bunch of audios on how to talk to people. You have to do both. There's a personal development side to learn more, but you also just have to go through the lumps of learning how to talk to people. You're going to mess up. I mess up all the time. Yesterday, I tried to talk to somebody and I messed up. I was having a conversation. I remember Arti was talking about something she messed up recently too. You know, you're always going to, nobody's going to be perfect. Even if you're LeBron James, does he make every basket he shoots? No, but he probably makes most of the baskets he shoots now because he's missed a lot. Just like, you know, I think Michael Jordan has that famous saying, you know, he's been entrusted with shooting the game-winning shot like, 50 times and he's only made like 20 of them, so you're always going to miss shots in this business. Even if you're a diamond, Vishal and Sonica don't sponsor everybody. It might look like it. Everybody that gets into they talk to, they sponsor, like that's what it looks like to me, but it's not true. They go through numbers. So it doesn't matter what level of business you're at, you're going to go through numbers. But like Maya said, you just have to be willing to learn and grow. And another aspect of it, I'm kind of running out of time, so I'm just going to go through it here, is I'm sure you guys have all had teammates or something, if you played sports, where they might have been really, really good at a sport, but one point in the game, maybe it was like in basketball, they missed a shot or they missed a wide open layup, or in football, they dropped a wide open pass or missed the tackle. Have any of you guys had teammates that have kind of had that happen to them, and then the rest of the game they played really, really bad and they were in their head and kind of messing up? Has that happened, or have you guys seen that maybe on TV and stuff before? The key to changing that habit is not their skill set. They already know what to do, but it's their mindset. Just like Maya said, to be better at something, you have to do more of it. But if you're good at it and you're messing up, sometimes it's because your mindset's negative. Maybe you're doing a lot of work and maybe you're good at talking to people, but you go into a MG1 thinking, the last 5 people I talked to didn't get into the business, this guy's not going to launch. Or they come to the board plan and you're like, he's showing good signs, but we'll see. Like I was talking about on the presentation, I don't think anybody that's rational can look at our business presentation and not launch into the business. If they don't get it, or if they don't see it, it has to be because they don't understand it, because you rationally can't look at this business and say, I'm not going to buy products for myself, share it with other people and make money. It just doesn't make sense. But sometimes people aren't attracted to your vibes. If you give off vibes of desperation, I need you to get into my business, or, they text you 5 times delaying the call and you're like, nope, no problem, hop on whenever you're ready. Those types of vibes give off, this person needs me in their business, and people don't want to be needed. They want to be on a team of people that are moving forward and moving ahead. So you want to have that mindset of, be able to handle your attitude, I remember seeing a video on Instagram recently I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen it, of that, I think it was a teacher in China who was kind of walking down the hallway with his head down, but before he walks into the room, he stands up, he puts on a smile on his face, and then goes in and teaches the class. That's the mindset you need in this business. You could get beat up. Every person could tell you no, but tomorrow you could meet the person that's going to be your first launch in your team, or the first platinum or diamond that you launch. But if you give off bad vibes, like if Elaine were to have talked to me and I would have thought like, this guy's not going anywhere, I wouldn't have launched my business. So you want to be attracting people into your business, even if it's not happening for you. I know Maya and Janae and Arti and I had a huddle the other day about, believing in yourself and picking yourself up. And Maya, I mean, she's, been a champion in basketball, so she's going to be a champion in this. And she was already talking about, she was like, yeah, all you have to do is just, believe in yourself. You have to attract your goals. You have to know that they're coming to you. And if you can do those things as well as put in the work, there's no way you won't see results in this business. So again, if you're not getting the results that you're looking for, if people aren't joining your business as fast as you want, don't always look for, oh, that's the reason why, that's the reason. Sometimes it's just you. You just need to do a little bit more. You need to think of other areas in your life that you were successful at. You weren't successful at them from the very beginning. You had to learn the skill set and become better. It's the same thing here, but this skill set can get you a 6-figure income and get you financially free. A lot of the skill sets we learned as kids were just fun activities that we were passionate about, but they didn't really hold much value like this business can hold for you. So those are some. I mean, money, I don't have time. I'm kind of wrapping up here, but another one that I always get is money. Pretty simple. I'm not going to go through an example, but there's 2 solutions to if you say that I don't have enough money to build this business, because it only takes about maybe $100, $200 of extra income, because most of the money is stuff you're already spending money on to really build this business. And there's 2 solutions to that. One is you need to figure out how to make more money if you're not making a lot of money. And the second is you need to learn how to spend less money. There's 2 solutions. You might have to do both. I know some people come into this business. I've talked with students and people that are like, I don't have any money to launch, or I don't have any this. Everyone is doing some sort of side hustle, some sort of way to make extra money. I would encourage you to use the products that you sell to create extra profit. But if you have other gaps in your day, maybe you're a student and you don't have classes all day, who's stopping you from going out and doing DoorDash for a couple of hours? Who's stopping you from selling some of your clothes or selling some stuff that you don't use? It's just solution finding. If you look for the solution, as long as it's not stopping you from building your business or taking away from you being at these meetings, figure out a way to make more. We live in the best country in the world. There should be no reason why you don't have enough money to do things to create success. Because if you need more money, I remember Vishal told me that a long time ago. If you need more money, that's the reason why you should get into the business, because this is what's going to give you that success in the long term. And then second is spending less money. Again, I would just go through a budget session, but a lot of people spend money on things that they don't need. Like I used to spend, like that one kid, Gavin, he was like, I spent $2,000. He was a single guy. I can't imagine, how do you spend $2,000 a month outside of rent and stuff? So there's obviously some things that he's spending a lot of money on that a lot of us also spend a lot of money on. So look, is there ways where you can pull back and maybe instead of eating out every day, maybe you can buy some products from the business, just like Janae said, maybe if you're buying a lot of medicine for your heart health, maybe you should look into preventative ways of preventing heart health. Obviously don't stop your medicine, but you get what I'm saying. Look for ways to find the ways that your products can help you. And obviously the same for your business. Another one is obviously negative association. Another example that came to my head as I wrap up is think of somebody that has weight loss. If you're trying to lose weight and every time you get around one of your friends, they laugh at you and call you fat and say, why are you even trying? You're not going to lose weight. Are you going to hang around that friend as you're in your weight loss journey or even after that? Probably not. So if you get into this business and your friend, again, they may or may not join your team, that's understandable. It's up to them and what they want to do. But if you surround yourself with people that are constantly pulling you down, I would argue to say that it's not that your friends are the problem or anything like that. It's that you're surrounding yourself with people that are adding negative into your life. I made a very tough decision early on in business where I had negative people around me, and I just simply chose to cut it off. I can give you a personal example of like my sister, a few of my family members, nothing wrong with them. I mean, I still see them here and there, but I don't allow them to impart on me every single day. I don't allow people to speak negative, even after paying off all of my debt, replacing a portion of my income, they still don't believe that this business will work. Some of them don't believe, so it's like, sometimes there's nothing that you can do to force people to believe in you. But if you're around negative association, nobody's forcing you, even if it's somebody who's really, really close to you, you don't have to necessarily take it in. Now, you might not be able to kind of get them completely out of your life, but you can limit the amount of times you bring up business, or you can limit the amount of times that you allow them to talk about it, because again, any rational person, if you're trying to lose weight and somebody's, would they laugh at you for trying to get out of, for losing weight? They probably wouldn't. So why would they laugh at you for trying to figure out a way to stop being broke? You know what I mean? It's the same mindset, but sometimes people don't get it because they don't have the mindset that we're talking about. So again, use common sense. If people aren't speaking life into you, then it's not necessarily them that's the problem. Why are you in an environment that's allowing them to do that? Because when I was in that environment, I only give people 1 or 2 chances. If they start talking negative or acting weird, I'm gone. I don't really care who you are. You know, again, if they're family, I'll still talk to them, but they're not somebody that I'm going to talk to on a regular basis or allow to speak into my life. Because if I see this as a vehicle to get me financially free, you know, I'm not going to allow one negative person to stop me, because there's people that have joined this business in my family that haven't been successful, but that doesn't mean that I can't be successful. So those are some of the tips that I would give you guys as we wrap up. We have 5 minutes. I mean, so those are some of the examples. You know, if you lack knowledge, get education. If you lack time, you need to manage your priorities. If you're lacking money, you need to learn how to budget, make more or spend less. If you're not getting the results, up your work ethic and be sure to master your attitude, because a lot of people do the work, but if you do the work with a bad attitude, you won't get as much results as if you do the work with the right attitude. And then if you have negative association, just eliminate those people, or at least limit them. Some of them you can't eliminate, but limit that time so that you at least can get your business going. Because you'll get to a point like I'm at now, where it really doesn't matter what anybody says. It's not going to stop me from building the business. But when you're new in business, when you aren't really making that much money and people start asking you, how much are you making, this and that, there's only so many times you can deal with that, you know, so you can deal with it a few times, but then try to get those people away from you as much as you can, so that you can focus on building your business. You know, like RT just put in, or Devang and RT, scissors, listen to the talk, Building Your Foundation by Brad Duncan. If somebody can put that number in the chat, he talks about snipping those negative people out of your life. Listen to that talk. It'll give you an essence of what I'm talking about. So yeah, so to kind of wrap up, again, it really, to overcome obstacles and to have a solution-oriented mindset, is it really just takes common sense, you know, the ability not to quit your business when you have some adversity, you know, finding solutions versus just looking at the problems. You know, you just want to tweak and adjust. I remember hearing in this business is all about try, fail, adjust, try, fail, adjust. You're going to take three steps forward, 2 steps back, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back all the time. But if you keep doing it faster and faster, eventually you're going to have bigger leaps and bigger, those 3 steps is going to be very large steps, and those 2 steps backs are going to start to be very small. And you'll start to hit big strides in this business, like a lot of leaders have. And the last thing is, you want to take ownership of your business. Because if you take ownership, a lot of these things start to melt away. Like, I didn't have to be told by Vishal, Sonika, Devang, and RT, or Lane to limit my association with people that spoke negatively. I knew it's my business. If you don't support it, that's fine with me, but I'm just not going to talk to you about my business, you know. Or if there was a challenge with money, I was like, all right, well, if I have to make more money, I got to figure it out. You know, so you want to start to take ownership, because a lot of these challenges and obstacles start to be washed away if you have an ownership mentality. If you're just looking at this as, my upline is going to help me do this, somebody else is going to help me do that, you can fall victim to a lot of these obstacles, because you can point the fingers, well, if my upline's doing all my meetings, then it must be their fault that people aren't launching. But why aren't you doing your own meetings? You know, why don't you step up and do more? Why don't you talk to more people? Then maybe you'll get better results. So again, always look back. Again, you don't want to be too critical of yourself, but sometimes you got to be hard on yourself and figure it out so that you can move forward. And that's really it. And if you have intensity, urgency, and consistency, this business will be a piece of cake. It might not happen for you right away, but it will for sure happen for you over a period of time. And to close out, I want to recommend Nandan Sangeeta's amazing talk, Rate Yourself on the 9 Core Steps. That's what I would encourage you guys to do. And I would encourage you guys, I had a couple of partners do this a few weeks ago, is I'd encourage you to, if you don't have it, I'll bring up the 9 Core Steps slide one more time. Again, talk to your coach. This might not be the exact same 9 Core Steps, or I'm sure they are, but if they're not, talk with them. But I would encourage you, take a screenshot of this and go through this later tonight. Again, if you haven't launched your business, you know, wait till you launch. But if you've already launched your business, start to rate yourself. You know, am I, green, means that I'm using all the products I possibly can. Yellow means that I'm using some products, but I'm not using all the products. And red means you're not using very many of the products. And go through this and do what I call like a red, yellow, green assessment, and rate yourself on all these 9 core steps and see which areas that you're lacking in. Go through the 4 basics. Which areas am I not doing the best at? And, rate yourself on your own personal standard. There's a group standard, 150 PV, 300 PV, drop the message daily. But for those of you that want to move forward faster, rate yourself on your own standard. I don't follow the minimum standards. My minimum is 500 personal PV. My minimum is having 20 MG1s, 10 people seeing the board plan every month. It might not be a pace that you're ready to run at just yet, but again, set some standards for yourself and say, hey, I know I'm never going to fall below this standard. and then talk with your coach. See if that's a good game plan, because sometimes people are way out in left field on their game plan. So you need your coach to kind of bring you back in and help you move forward. But that's what I would encourage you to do is listen to Nanda. Nanda has a really good talk, which explains things really well. So listen to that, watch that video, rate yourself on the 9 core steps, and just do that exercise. And then focus on, for the next 2 to 3 weeks, how can I get all of those reds and yellows up to greens? Because like I said, every one of those 9 core steps is simply just a decision. You choose to use the products, you choose to talk to people, you choose to read books, you choose to come to the conference next week. It's just a decision. You know, again, if there's obstacles in your way, there's always a solution to your obstacle. You might not know the solution at the moment, but I guarantee you, if you talk to your coach, they've probably had somebody who's had a similar experience and are willing to help you. And it's just a matter of, do you want help finding a solution, or are you just going to sit there and allow yourself to, you know, not have the solution? And for me, that wasn't an option, because I knew that I wanted to be successful and I wasn't going to allow anything to stop me. So with that, that's kind of all I wanted to talk about. You know, I would encourage you guys, like I said, to rate yourself. I would encourage you to send it in your upline group chat later tonight and ask your coach for, I know it's still the middle of the month, but I would ask your coach to have a huddle and say, hey, all of these are reds and yellows. You know, how can I improve this? How can I get better and get these up to greens so that I can be Eagle, Platinum? Because I don't think there's anybody on this call, even if, you know, Douglas, who hasn't even launched yet, you all can be 7,500 by September and start Q12 qualification. You know, so it's just a matter of a decision. Are you going to go for it? Or are you going to not go for it? So with that, thank you guys so much for allowing me to share. 2 minutes, I think it's better than being 15 minutes over. So I'm improving a little bit. But with that, I'm going to pass it back over to Tony to wrap up the meeting. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to share.
Wow. I don't even know what to say after that, John. Like, I just want to go home. I mean, I'm already home, but I'm speechless now. But great presentation, John. I feel like I was literally in pace. We started with the health, happy heart health with Janae, and everyone in that panel went into an amazing training with John, and you know, Calvin and Maya on that panel. And you just take away so much information. Like, you don't have to be, you know, a John or a Radame or Evelyn or a Amit or Devon or RT to just do the basics, you know, develop your skill sets from start to finish. And John did great at explaining that, especially with like athletes. My mindset, if you was ever an athlete in your life, this business just makes sense. I mean, you don't have to be an athlete for it to make sense. I know John was mentioning Miles Huddles when he was explaining it. That was my thought process coming into it. Like, oh, I already know this from basketball. It's 2 + 2 = 4, right? So it's amazing training and board plan. We really appreciate you for speaking. Before an ending announcements, if anyone joined late to tonight's training and they didn't get to introduce themselves for the Jim Thorpe qualifications, you can introduce yourself again. Just, you know, your name and which qualification did you do?
Hi, good evening, everyone. Harry and Tulika, personally sponsored, coached, and mentored by Vishal and Sonika Jain. We qualified for this Jim Thorpe qualification as we had 2 members last week for the BP1. And also talking on behalf of Raj and Regina, where Raj had 2 potential candidates for BP1 tonight. And he couldn't make the second part of the training because of some family issues. So congratulations to both. Thank you.
Awesome, congratulations too, Tulika. Anyone else? Nope. All right, so closing announcements, next week's speakers, definitely want to have the house packed. Is no other than Ryan and Nidhi Bhattacharya. Super excited to hear from them. For all the new partners who don't know them, I do believe they have a couple audios out on the Extreme app. If you can listen to the audios before the presentation, get to know a little bit about them. They're second gens building this business. I remember the first time I met them, I was excited. I was like, second gens, that's the goal. I want to have second gens. So I'm looking forward to their presentation next week. And there will also be a night owl. And the qualification for next week night owl with Ryan and Nidhi is to have your conference ticket. I feel like that's something we all, right, can work towards and just get done. And you don't want to miss a night owl. For all the new partners that don't know what a night owl is, it's like the party after